Hey everybody, welcome back to another Halloween how-to. Now this is not going to be one that I'm creating and giving you the idea of. This is actually something that I've gotten an idea out of the Better Homes and Gardens Halloween magazine. And I've talked about it in previous videos when we did these little trick-or-treat block letters for my fireplace mantle. Basically, I am trying to emulate this design for my living room fireplace this year. And part of that is creating some of these eyeball flowers. And in the picture here, basically they have them in a little grouping with a couple of clear vases on one side and then like a single one on the other side in another vase. So I was at the thrift store looking for, interesting vases, and I just couldn't find anything that I really liked. So I was browsing the home goods store, as I'm apt to do this time of year because they have awesome Halloween stuff, and I came across these vases here. They're not actually vases, they're little tea light candle holders. Had little things that clipped on the top and held a tea light like halfway down here. And it's got a little crackle bottom. I kind of like the look, but basically I like that there were 3 different sizes, even though they were, like for instance this tall one here in the back is far too big for what I needed for my flower project. So I took some black pebbles that I got at the Dollar Tree, kind of filled them up to take some space out so that when I put the flowers in, it's not going to look too strange that I have a tiny little flower coming out the top of this giant vase here. Anyway, that's beside the point. What you're going to need if you want to follow along with this project with me, let me go ahead and read you the instructions here. You're going to need 6-inch mini black tissue fans. Now I had to order these from Amazon. I don't remember how much they were, just like a couple of bucks for a 3-pack. You can find these tissue packs in like the party stores and whatnot, but for me it was just easier to order from Amazon. They have in the magazine black ones, so I got 6-inch black ones, but then I also got these silver ones because I kind of like the silver and the black together. Anyway, do what you want. You're also going to need some quick setting gel glue. So I have some clear gel tacky glue I picked up at Walmart today. I don't know why this is any different than just say regular glue, but I guess we'll find out in a bit. You're going to need some stem wire. I also ordered this from Amazon. I'm not sure, it doesn't really specify what size you want, so I got a 20 gauge, 18 inches long, and now that I see it in person, they look very, very thin, so I don't know if they're going to be sturdy enough. I went ahead and I picked up from the Dollar Tree some extra tinsel stems, just to kind of bulk up the shape a little bit if I need to. You're going to need some eyeball images, which you download from their website. I'll put the link to that below. Basically, in the image, I find this a little bit misleading because they show them printed out in different colors, green and yellow, but the printout only comes green, and I don't have a color printer, so I just printed it out in black and white. I took some colored pencils and I colored in a couple of them. I also left some black and white, so we'll just see what looks a little bit, what looks better in that case. If these are just a giant fail, I did pick up some of these googly eyes from the Dollar Tree as a last resort. So we'll see what we have to do in that sense. Oh, where did we leave off? All right, we need some glass mosaic pebbles. Well, I have no idea what the heck that is, so I just picked up some glass gems from the Dollar Tree. They seem, I thought they were going to be a little bit too big. They're, pretty good size here. But now that I'm looking at this printout, I just printed it out for the first time today. I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's going to be about the right size. So that might be actually perfect. I was worried that these eyeballs were going to be a little too big because they do look awfully large. All right, you're going to need some matte finish decoupage medium such as Mod Podge. I've actually never used this before. I know, for those of you that watched my trick or treat block letter tutorial, I know I need to use this on it. I'm so scared of ruining it. So I guess this is going to be kind of a practice. We'll see how it works. You're going to need some extra white cardstock. Now, I believe this is just to put a rim around your eyeball. And I didn't think about that before I started coloring this in, because I think you could just cut around the eyeball. I printed the eyeballs out on cardstock just to make it a little easier. But had I stayed within the lines, I probably just could have trimmed a little extra white edge around it instead of using printout. Oh no, I guess you couldn't. I don't know, we'll find out. Maybe that's not a good plan after all. And then lastly, you're going to need some black floral tape. So I got the black floral tape also from Amazon. Let's get started. All right, to make each flower using one mini black tissue paper fan, let's just go ahead and open this up here, just like those. All right, so the tissue paper fans, when we unfold them, are gonna look like so, which is a little bit bigger than I kind of envisioned in my mind, so this is good. All right. Trim cardboard hanging strips flush with the tissue paper edges to conceal. I guess that's the little handle piece here. So let's just go ahead and do that. Just cut off one side, cut off the other side. All right, so we have done that. For a fringed edge, use scissors to cut the fan edges. All right, it's just, I'm gonna just do basically, not every single fringe, but every couple of fringes. And I was a little worried about this step that it might make it look horrible, but you know, I think it actually looks pretty good. So there we go. There we go. Getting there. All right. Unfold the fan and apply quick setting glue along the cardboard strips and along the inner edge of the fan to maintain the circular shape. Before the adhesive sets, insert a length of stem wire along the back of the cardboard seam and press the edges together. Hold until the seam separates. All right, it has a little adhesive strip here already, so we'll just go ahead and peel that off and stick one of these things in there. I'm not sure if we need the glue because it has the strip or the adhesive there, but should we? I suppose we should. Let's just do it because that's what the directions say. I'm really not sure this is necessary. All right, so we'll just give it a little bit of glue here. All right. Fold it closed. All right, while it's setting, I'm just going to hold this. We'll read the next step. All right, print the eye images and cut out each eye shape. Okay, that'll be the next step. Ooh, that glue doesn't want to stick. All right. I'm wondering if, because I've got the stem sticking in here now, that the cardboard, I mean, it's not really squeezing closed. So give this a moment. All right, I think we got it. Hopefully it'll stay. All right, we're getting there. Okay, let me just set this aside for the moment. Let that dry. All right, so we've printed the images. I'm just going to go ahead and cut one out here real quick. Now someone on the forums, or not on the forums, in the comment section of my other one, I think it was my haul video where I was collecting some supplies for this, said the googly eyes, I guess, will work, but the reason that we use the these things is it's supposed to make it have an effect where the eyeball always follows you. So I don't know. Does it look like it's following you? I am not sure how I feel about the colored eyeball. Let me go ahead and print out one of the black and white ones. Okay, got my black and white printout. I think there's just so much distortion in these little glass things that you cannot even tell that that is an eyeball. Let me try another one. Maybe some of these are clearer than other ones. This one's just oblong, so that's not going to work. The dollar store. There. This one's good. Okay, so some of them work, some of them don't. But I think I definitely like the black and white one better than the colored one. Let me just switch. It could have just been the bead too, so I guess that's not bad. What a dilemma. Alright, I guess I'm just going to do the black and white ones for now. I like them. Okay, so we have our eyeball. It says to, you know what, I'm going to trim it just a little bit smaller because it is just slightly bigger than our bead thing. So I think making it just a little smaller works a little better. So the next step is to use this Mod Podge, I believe. Let's see. All right. With the image facing up, brush a thin layer of decoupage medium over the eye and adhere it to the bottom of the glass pebble. Smooth out bubbles, dry for 5 to 10 minutes. All right, so have my Mod Podge, and I have a brush, and I have some paper towels. So let's go ahead and make a little bit of room here. And I'm going to take my eyeball, my brush, my Mod Podge, and let's just brush a little bit on here. Okay. Here we go. Let's put it on the back. And oh, I see what they mean about the air bubbles. I can definitely see some of those now. So just kind of press it till they work out. And now I have an eyeball. All right. So stick that there to dry. Next step. Cut a 1.5 inch diameter circle from the white cardstock. Glue the glass eye pebble onto the circle and set aside to dry. This is where I thought, well, why don't we just cut out a little bit of the extra circle, make it a little bit larger. Let's just, you know what, I'm just going to take one of these pencils. I'm sure there's an easy way to cut a 1.5 inch diameter circle if I had a compass or something, but I don't. Let's just take a ruler and see here. So 1.5, these pebbles are an inch, so maybe about a 1/4 of an inch on either side. So let me just go on kind of freehand this. All right, so I've freehanded myself a little circle. Let's cut it out. Hope it's not too awful. All these projects seem like they will be so easy, but they never are. You know, I guess though, it's a good way to learn what I can do and what I can't. Like I said, it's my first time using this Mod Podge, so I can have a new skill for my resume, I guess. All right, so I've got my circle. Let me just sort of, It's not a bad circle. It's pretty close. I don't mind it being a little odd because, you know, it's Halloween. These things aren't supposed to look perfect. But I'm just going to kind of make it a little better. Okay, so what was that next step? We're supposed to glue it, right? Let's see here. Put this back on. What did I do with that paper towel? Did I just throw it away? All right. Uh-oh. Got the end of my stem in this. Nothing is ever easy. All right. So we are going to take our glue again and my eyeball. I'm going to glue it to the cardstock and set it aside to dry. Getting there. All right, put it there. Let that dry a minute. Okay, what's next? Wrap the stem wire with the black floral tape, stretching it slightly as you wrap for adhesion. Glue a mosaic pebble to the flower center using the quick setting glue. Once the glue dries, bend the flower stem as desired and display in the vase. So we're getting a little closer. All right. Now that I'm getting glue all over my vase. So I think we are probably going to need this. I don't know if we really need it, but I'm going to use it just to bulk up the stem a little bit. Let's go ahead and add this tape here. All right. This is my first time using this, so some of you are probably laughing at me going, what are you doing? How are you supposed to do this? Does it just stick to itself? So, here we go. All right, well, I'm just twisting and wrapping, and it seems to be sliding down the wire. Let me sort of push that back up, huh? Oh no, the flower's coming apart. All right, well, we'll fix that back in a minute. Let's just finish this step. One step at a time. My flower, my poor flower. I worked so hard on that. Clearly, we should probably do the stem first. That wasn't good. All right. So when I do the rest of these, I'm definitely going to wrap the stem first. So, all right, so I've got my black stem here. Probably should have gone a little higher with it, but now that this thing has come apart, let's try and stick this back in there. I suspect that's not going to be the only problem now that, of course, I'm mangling the bottom of this flower. I think trying to glue this eyeball in is going to be yet another challenge. But, because this is like a dome shape, I'm not sure how they expect this thing to glue on top of it, but let's just go for it. Just add a bunch of glue here. That's probably the easiest way to do it, I guess. Little dome of glue. Stick my eyeball on it. Let's give that a few moments to rest. And while it is, I'm going to go back to my magic cabinet here and grab a marker. Because these brown cardboard bits that are sticking down are very noticeable. So I'm just going to take my Sharpie marker and kind of color them so it's not brown anymore. It's black. And another tip, I guess, is to start that floral tape a little higher. All right, but, oh, well, that didn't last. All right, let's try that again. I'm gonna just press it in a little better. gonna have to flatten it a bit. All right, so I'm gonna let this dry. I'm going to attempt to make a few more of these and then check back with you in here in a bit, okay? All right. Okay, we have just one left to make. So I thought I would share with you some of the tips and tricks of how to get these right, because this is one of those projects that, you know, first of all, they forget to tell you everything you need to know, because there's a lot of little steps that would make things much helpful if you knew them in advance, primarily being what size floral wire you need. Now, as you may recall, I got the 20 gauge, and that is not nearly in any way sufficient. So I ended up, that very first one that I made with you, I had to redo simply because it just would not stand up at all. So what I had to do, you know, I was using one piece of this floral wire and one of these sort of pipe cleaner things. I can't remember what they call them. I've already lost the packaging. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But that wasn't enough. So I doubled it up with 2 of the wires, 2 pipe cleaners, and wrapped it all with the floral tape. I thought that would be sufficient, and it almost is. You can see the ones at the top here in the larger vase that are kind of bending over because they're very, very top heavy, are using this. But the ones in the 2 smaller vases are pretty much this thing bent in half. You really need some very sturdy wire. I was considering just going out and getting some sticks and sticking them on sticks instead of this wire. It would have made things a lot easier. The other thing that we want to do is, you know, we want to take our Sharpie marker and color in just as much of this brown cardboard as possible. Now remember, in that first one, the directions told us to trim this cardboard off. Don't do that. Leave it on. But what I did, just to make it look nicer, is I trimmed it into a V shape so that we can still use this end cardboard, but it doesn't look like a big blocky end piece of cardboard. So I'll show you why we do that here in a second. Well, while we've got it open, we are going to just go ahead and trim it. I found I start at the cardboard base and just go about like every 2 to 3 of these ruffles, whatever you call them. And that pretty much gets us all the way around. There we go, not too bad. So now we just need to glue it together on the stem. So I'm going to take off the piece of adhesive backing. Oh great, now the whole thing came off. Don't buy cheap pom-poms. I'm just going to add some glue onto both sides of this. Maybe if it works with me. And now, because we had to wrap so much floral wire in here, there's no way this glue is going to stay. So I put the glue in there, I hold it as much as possible, and then the reason I left that bit of cardboard at the bottom is because I just take my stapler and I staple it together. That's about the only way it is going to hold. So there we go. Then we take the glue, and these have fallen off a couple of times. I haven't really let them sit long enough, I think, for the glue to really dry. Tom had suggested using hot glue. That might be a better option. I'm just gonna put a little bit more on there. So let's just put this on. I'm going to press it down. You kind of got to flatten the paper a bit for it to adhere. And then we're just going to let that dry for a while. And when it does dry, hopefully this one's getting there. All you do, again, take the base. I just sort of double it up. Here's where I learned I probably should have taken the floral tape and gone all the way to the end because I have some of this green wire sticking out. I'm just going to trim it off with my scissors. So so we don't see it. And then I just kind of twist these together, and it gives it a bit more of a sturdy stem. And we'll just go ahead and pop it into one of these vases here. And then just, add a little extra detail. See, there we go. You really want those things to dry. That one was not dry. Just gonna add a little more glue. And if they keep falling off, I will try the hot glue, but for now, we're gonna make that work. And then just the last step is, since I already had this black pipe cleaner, and these vases looked kind of bare with just the flower, I throw a few of these black pipe cleaners in here. It kind of looks like, leaves to our little black flowers. I like the look of it, and it gives it a little bit of sparkle. Hesitant to touch those. I don't want those eyes to fall off anymore. But there we go. So I am getting closer to my fireplace look thanks to Better Homes and Gardens. Let's see where else they can mess us up. There's not a whole lot left to it. I got to add my frames on the fireplace. I've spray painted a few. I'm waiting for them to dry, so that'll be done soon. The rest is just some white pumpkins, it looks like, some spider webs. I already have the candlesticks, and looks like that's pretty much about it. This was the hard part. It still is the hard part. I'm not sure I would recommend doing this. My alternate option would have been to just use the black roses from the dollar store. But actually, now that I'm done with these, I like them. I know those little glued on things are not going to stay. That's a shame. But we'll see, I guess, in the morning if they've all fallen off, broken. But for now, some of them are staying, so that's a good sign. Anyway, that's it for today. If you want to see me progress with my fireplace and other DIY projects we can try, make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you around, guys. Happy haunting. Take care.